Where are we, first of all?
We're at Facebook. Facebook headquarters.
And who are you?
I'm Chris Putnam. I'm an engineer here at Facebook.
And I've known you for a long time.
Yeah. I think we first started talking when I was like 16.
Yeah.
Or so.
You lived in Atlanta and let me listen to your music.
Yeah, somewhere in Georgia.
So what are you announcing today? Why am I over here?
Well,
I want to get that right up in front before we start talking about our fun cast lives.
Sure. So what we're announcing is major improvements to our video product. First thing is that we're going to be adding higher quality video up to and including 720p HD high def. I mean, up to 720p, so definitely HD, not quite.
So you're the first big brand to do HD.
I guess so.
You're the first brand that people around the world would recognize, right?
Yeah, that might be true.
Wow. And what else are you doing?
We're also doing embeddable video. So you're going to have the ability to embed video content anywhere you like. We'll give the embed code just like all the other major video sites give you. But of course, we're going to preserve the privacy settings. So anywhere that it goes, your privacy settings will travel with it.
Now, okay, I have a blog, and it's open to the public. Can I embed my video there and make it publicly available?
Absolutely. So
people don't have to sign into Facebook to click you on the video?
No, as long as the privacy is set to everyone privacy, which is the default on videos right now, then you're going to be able to see that video anywhere, even if you're logged out.
Big news.
Oh, yeah.
Because that means Facebook is opening up to the web in a new way. I haven't seen you guys do that.
Well, we do have a couple other examples. I think you can view like pages. Like I think you might have a page somewhere.
Yep.
Those are visible logged out. The videos on those are also visible logged out. So you can, but of course that's on Facebook.
Yeah.
But of course there's also been the buzz around FB Connect, which you've probably heard.
Yep.
That's also doing some of our outside of Facebook stuff.
I'm looking forward to being able to put the social network on my blog and have people interact with Facebook from my blog, which is going to be really cool. So get geeky on me. What does this really mean?
Well, for the HD stuff, so I can tell you about. Would you like to know how maybe like the encoder works? Or?
Yeah.
So for the HD stuff, we've moved from an old codec in Flash, which you may be familiar with, VP6. VP6 was a great improvement in video quality in Flash. I think it was in Flash 8 is when they added it.
Yep.
And of course there was H.263 video before that. VP6 looks pretty good. Doesn't cost a lot of CPU to decode, but it's not as good as it can be. So Flash added H.264 support in, I think, October of last year.
Yep. And
so we decided that we were going to build something that utilizes H.264.
Okay.
So another thing with H.264 is that we can encode it with open source libraries. We can encode the audio with open source libraries. We can mux it using open source libraries. We do everything open source, and we can open source what we build as well. Whereas with the previous stuff, it was all proprietary stuff. You have to like get a license for it and write your software sort of black box in-house.
Now, the last time I was here, you have a big screen over your desk where you can watch all the encoders working and watch the amount of video in the queue that's being encoded. How do you expect it to deal with this massive amount of new video? Because everybody who's going to buy an HD flip cam this Christmas is going to be recording HD video and is going to want to put that on their Facebook.
Well, I hope they do, first of all. But we're pretty well prepared. So we've actually already been encoding the HD videos. We've already been encoding the higher quality videos. And so we already know sort of what sort of strain we can expect. I don't know that announcing HD will suddenly be will be the direct cause of an influx in videos, but I do think you're right that after the Christmas season we're going to see a lot more videos. I mean, even in the past 2 months, I've seen like a doubling in the amount of HD content that's getting uploaded to Facebook, which is really awesome. So, and speaking of numbers, we're doing 100,000 videos a day now.
Wow.
And I think we have 45 million videos total right now on Facebook.
Is that crazy?
Yeah.
100,000 videos
a day.
A day.
Right. The average length is like about 1.5 minutes, so you're pretty much on the mark there.
And you also have all the usual tagging stuff that, if I see my friend, like if I see Rocky in a video, I can tag him and it'll show up on his news feed and all that fun stuff.
Absolutely. And also you can tag other people's videos now too. Like sort of like photos. You can tag other people's photos as long as they're your friend. Okay. So with video you can do the same thing. So total feature parity with photos right now.
Now I have a Mac Mini hooked up to my big 60-inch screen, which looks sort of like that one over there. And I can hook these cameras up with shoot in 720p. Would I see much of a quality difference between watching the Facebook video and watching the video straight off my camcorder?
You'll see a little bit of a quality difference. I mean, it is compressed, where the camera probably shoots in like uncompressed format. So it's going to have some compression, but it looks pretty good. So you say these cameras shoot in 720p?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to look pretty close to the original, but it's going to be much lower bit rate, and it's going to be, you know, in a lossy compressed format. Yeah.
Is there any tips you have for videographers who want to make sure that their quality is ultimate, you know, the best that they can do?
Yeah, generally the way I see it is we have a file size limit, and it's a gig.
Okay.
So you want to use the best codec you have, H.264 usually, target hitting a gig and get the best quality you possibly can, and then send us that.
Okay.
Okay, because that's going to give us the best thing. That's going to be the best.
It's a
that we can
gig, and it's
possibly do.
also there's a minute length.
Yeah, there is a length limit. So we have this notion of verification on Facebook. Verified users will have a 20-minute limit, and unverified users have a 2-minute limit.
Okay. So you have to make sure you're under those 3 limits before you upload.
Right.
If I have an hour-long video, I have to cut it up into pieces?
Yeah, for the time being, yeah.
Okay.
We're thinking of ways to increase the limit. We haven't made up our minds yet.
Now, the embed on my blog, if I embed something, that won't be HD at first, right?
No, the embedded versions of the video will be the normal quality, which is still really great quality. I should point that out. I mean, it's still higher quality than our previous encoder. It already looks much better. And even right now in production, you can see the higher quality videos now compared to 4 months ago.
Okay.
But yeah, whenever you embed the video on your blog, you're going to get the normal quality. And for the HD quality, we may call out the HD quality and say this video has HD, click here, and it will take them to Facebook to maybe your page, and they can view it in HD there.
Oh, that's really cool. So it'll automatically transcode on the back end to the different formats?
Correct.
Can I watch this video on something like an iPhone or on a Google phone or anything like that?
I don't know about the Google phones, maybe. Probably, actually. On an iPhone, I don't know right off the bat. I'm not sure if we're encoding to the profile the iPhone supports, but it's something that we've been thinking about. I think everyone's been sort of thinking about ways to get their hooks into the iPhone. And we already have a great iPhone app as it stands.
Very cool.
So we're thinking about it.
Very cool. So let's have some fun. So how did you get here? Because I know your story of how you got to Facebook is a lot of fun.
Yeah. So the story of how I got to Facebook. I don't know how much of it I've told you. Maybe the whole thing.
We were in line at South by Southwest, and you told me
right.
you told me a little bit, enough to get me interested.
Right. I had
in the
to just
story.
like blurt it all out. Right. So I was in college at Georgia Southern in Statesboro, Georgia, and kind of in the middle of nowhere, and I was using Facebook. I think we had recently gotten Facebook at our college, which was like a new thing at the time, because Facebook was all just college only. This was February of 2006.
Yeah.
And my friends and I were just messing around on Facebook board one weekend, and we thought, oh, hey, maybe there's like security holes on here. Maybe we can mess with the HTML in the profile or something. And within just a few minutes, we found some security holes, major security flaws in the site. And we took advantage of those. And to put it short, I wrote a worm, a viral worm, that spread from profile to profile silently, and it called home to my server and asked for instructions. So as this spread to thousands of profiles, you would get it just by viewing a profile. Once it spread to thousands of profiles, I flipped the switch, and we changed the style sheet on the profile to look like MySpace. So there were thousands of profiles looking like MySpace. And then Facebook finds out, and I start seeing Facebook employees getting infected with the virus, and it's spreading around Facebook. And it was pretty exciting and also a little scary, because I was a little worried that I was going to get in some trouble for what I was doing. Someone from Facebook contacted me and asked me, you know, what are you doing? Like, how are you doing this? And so I explained to him how I did it. I showed him how to fix it. And then I found even more security holes and showing how to fix those. And eventually he just offered to have me out for an interview. Got hired, and here I am 2.5 years later.
That is the craziest way to get a job I've ever heard of.
I mean, it was a little bit. I was a little bit worried that I was going to get arrested or something when I flew out here, because I've heard of things happening in the past, other tech companies, you know, getting hacked or having some sort of security situation happen, and then they offer the hacker a job, fly them out, and then arrest them at the airport. So I brought my friend with me and some bail money just in case.
What else have you been doing here since you've joined Facebook?
Oh man, I've gotten my hands in a lot of cookie jars here, I think. Video is my biggest thing. I've been working on video for a long time. When we first started video, we launched it from a hackathon, which is these like all-night coding events. And my friend and I just really loved this video product, and we just worked hardcore on it for like the next couple of months, and we were able to launch it, I guess, the platform launch in May of 2007.
Yeah.
But that's my favorite project thus far. But I'm also working on photo stuff. I've worked on all of our like email alert systems. I've done heavy amounts of security work, improving our code base, keeping it way more secure, working on anti-spam measures, that sort of thing. So I'm kind of all over the place, really.
Has anybody hacked your code the way you hacked?
Not really. No one's written a worm that's been effective. I think we have had a couple of XSS holes, which is how I got the worm out there. But they weren't major. They weren't on the profile, and so we took care. And we take care of them extremely fast now. I mean, my worm ran, it ran for like several days, and we see an XSS hole immediately and get rid of it.
Yeah.
So
back to video. One of the things I liked about Facebook was I got to watch your videos in this room, and that's sort of why we chose to film here, because you would play music and joke around and have a great time with everybody. And are those videos public, or you only share those with
I think a lot of
friends?
Them, I think a lot of them are public. I think a lot of them are set to everyone. So those will be embeddable.
Tell me the role music and video play, and how does that affect what you do as a coder building stuff?
I mean, it's just a good environmental thing for people working here. You know, we have a lot of toys. If you look around this room, we have these like drums, all sorts of rock band stuff. We have tons of guitars and bass and all this stuff. It's just really, it's a really good environment. Keeps people happy in the office. I think it's really important, conducive to good creative environment, which you kind of need for good coders.
What is it about coders and music? Because when I worked at Microsoft, there were a lot of the best coders were really good musicians. I mean, Jim Alchin, who ran the Windows team, had a really good rock band and could have been a professional rock musician if he didn't go into coding. Is there something about coding and music that go together that match up?
Yeah, I think so, actually. Some of the best coders that I've met are also quite talented musically. I think that creativity is the key. I think I remember in high school, I took those tests about what you want to do from the guidance counselor, like what you want to do when you grow up, and I remember them pointing out that like programming was a very creativity-driven thing, that the most creative people are going to be the best programmers, and I think that's pretty true.
Yeah. In the video project, what is, if you were talking to another engineer, what would be one thing you would brag about that you got right, or a challenge that you overcame, or something really cool technically?
Well, it's pretty technical, but the whole wiring together of all these open source components to get them to work together, we're using FFmpeg, which is this project we use to decode video, and then we have to do a bunch of color space conversion. We have to, without loss of quality, or don't mess up the colors and don't make it too dark or too light, get that over into the X264 encoder and get that to handle the YUV stuff correctly. All this stuff is like pretty tricky, and also the compatibility issues are just like the biggest pain, because there's so many video formats, there's so many video codecs. We have to special case a lot of things. So in order to be a good product that is compatible with everything that people throw at us, there's a lot of work put into that, and I think engineers would respect that.
Yeah. How many different camcorders do you test with, or video formats?
We have something like 25 different file extensions of videos that we support, but I mean, that's just file extensions, because there's no real way to tell what codecs are inside those files, but we do know which files we can demux. So we have a list of just these files.
What does demux mean for people who don't know?
So a video is usually a container.
Okay.
And in this container are your streams. So you have like an audio stream and a video stream, or maybe you have more than one audio stream, like a commentary track or something.
Yeah.
So you have to put these into a container, which is called muxing, because you're interleaving them into the container. And then whenever you go back to play them, you have to demux to pull the streams apart and then decode them separately.
Wow.
So a container is usually described by the file format, which you might see an AVI file or an MOV file, an MP4 file, and so on. So those are all containers.
Are you going to have some cool HD video for us to check out when the system comes up?
I think so. I think we have some stuff planned. I think we'll probably put something up with the blog post. It looks nice.
Very cool.
Yeah. So what we're looking at now is the quality difference that you're going to see from the old encoder from a couple months ago to the new encoder and then to HD.
Okay.
So this video is a high definition video that got uploaded to Facebook. So let's say that what we're looking at now is the old encoder. Okay. So this is.
Okay. And you can see it's it has some artifacts,
yeah.
and I can see some grain.
Mm-hmm.
But it still looks pretty good.
It still looks pretty good.
It's better than a lot of the videos I see on other services.
True, yeah. And also, another thing to check out is, I should have mentioned earlier, the thumbnail here, if you look at the player, the thumbnail on the old quality has kind of got like some blockiness to it. You can see there. It's being scaled up, so it's already kind of blocky, but the source video itself is not so hot on the keyframes. Okay. So then we can look at the new encoder. This is the new encoder at the normal quality level.
Okay.
Same source video, new encoder. Already you can see the thumbnail is much better.
Yeah.
What little artifacting you're seeing is actually because of Flash scaling the thumbnail up a little bit. So,
Okay.
so we can play this. This already looks significantly better. You can still see a little bit of halos, a little bit of artifacts here and there, but it's pretty
A
sharp.
lot less graininess and a lot more visual clarity.
Definitely. So
Cool.
now we can look at the HD version. So what we have here is same thumbnail, same source video. This is all encoded in the same encode. And this is the full 720p high-def version of it.
Wow. The contrast got deeper. It looks, the blacks and whites look blacker and whiter.
Sure, got a lot more bits to allocate. So
Now, what kind of bandwidth do you need to have to watch the HD video?
the HD video requires 2.5 megabit at the top end. So
Okay.
this video quality right now is 2.5 megabit. I guess if you add the audio, it'd be about 2.62 megabits.
And so if your bandwidth isn't there, you just need more time to buffer it?
Correct, yes. Of course, we were going to do bandwidth detection. So if you watch some video that's over a meg in size, we're going to use that to passively detect your bandwidth. So if you have at least 2.5 megabit of downstream, we'll just automatically show you high def videos, higher quality videos all the time.
Very cool.
Yep.
This is really cool stuff.
Cool.